Hello and welcome to the Kentucky Level of Care System, also known as KLOCS, Provider Telehealth webinar. Before we begin with today's webinar, let's go ahead and take a look at our agenda. To start, we'll have an introduction going over the purpose, features, and benefits of telehealth. We'll then discuss the dashboard calendar screen, as well as other topics such as how to inform the reviewer the provider is unavailable for an appointment, how to search for appointments, how to join an appointment, and lastly, we do have some additional scenarios going over topics such as discharge, systematic discharge, application withdrawal, and transfer.
Let's now take a look at telehealth. KLOCS Telehealth Overview. The Department of Medicaid Services is implementing KLOCS Telehealth to enable peer review organizations and community mental health centers the ability to conduct virtual assessments with Medicaid members and those pending Medicaid eligibility in long-term nursing care facilities. The purpose of KLOCS telehealth implementation is to reduce potential health risks associated with in-person assessments and also reduce application processing and evaluation turnaround times. A pilot program for KLOCS telehealth occurred in December 2021. The statewide go-live is currently planned for early 2022 for community mental health centers and providers statewide. Telehealth benefits. You may be wondering, what are some of the benefits of telehealth? There are several benefits associated with telehealth. One, it is safe due to being contactless. Virtual meetings limit health risks to Medicaid members, providers, and reviewers alike. Telehealth is very accessible. Assessments are conducted in real time and can be conducted from nearly anywhere that has an internet connection and access to a device such as a tablet, mobile device, or desktop computer. Additionally, telehealth is very efficient. Telehealth works within the KLOCS program and offers HIPAA-compliant flexibility in application and LOC processing. The importance of telehealth is twofold: to reduce health risks associated with in-person interviews, and to reduce the application processing and member evaluation turnaround time. Next, we will discuss the dashboard screen. Provider Dashboard Telehealth Updates. The dashboard within KLOCS now has some additional features. On the left of the page, under Quick Links, a new link has been added called View Appointments. Providers can use this link to view all of the scheduled appointments for their facility, review appointment details, search for appointments, or indicate that they are unavailable for a specific appointment. Providers will utilize the View Appointments link to be navigated to the calendar screen. Additionally, at the bottom of the dashboard screen is a section called Today's Appointments. Within KLOCS, you'll be able to see the current appointment scheduled for that day and join the appointment as well. Today's Appointments Functionality Guide. There's a lot of different functionality in today's appointments. You will be able to filter information and be able to view the start and end time of an appointment. Just note that the times listed are in Eastern Standard Time. Also viewable is the application number for the appointment. This number is for the individual level appointment. For provider level appointments, an NA will appear. You'll be able to see the type of appointment in the appointment category and the appointment group, which will list either the Pro or CMHC. You'll be able to see the current status, as well as in the action column, there will be a link that's enabled 15 minutes prior to the start of the appointment that's used to join the appointment. The link will remain active until 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time of the current day. Let's go over appointment statuses in a little more detail. Scheduled is the default status that appears when an appointment is initially scheduled. If you need to reschedule an appointment, the rescheduled date and time that appears is the date and time it was rescheduled for. Canceled status appears if, for instance, the member has been discharged from the facility or canceled. When this occurs, all associated appointments will be marked as canceled. For no-show, this would be updated at the end of the meeting, in the event no one from the nursing facility joined the meeting. The Show Appointment status appears for appointments when you have clicked the Start link and opened the appointment. Complete appears after an appointment that was actually completed. The final status we will discuss is batch closed. Appointments listed as scheduled, rescheduled, or show by the end of the day. If no further action has occurred, the appointment automatically updates to batch closed. At that time, an entirely new appointment would then need to be set up by the reviewer if needed. To review, from the dashboard screen, providers may click View Appointments to navigate to the calendar screen, and you also have the ability to join an appointment.
So next we are going to discuss the new calendar screen. The calendar screen is accessible from the dashboard when the provider clicks View Appointments under the Quick Links section. Now something I want to point out here as well is that providers are only able to view appointments associated with their facility. And as you can see on the screenshot we have shown here, there are multiple different sections of the screen. First, we'll discuss the calendar view section, which is on the top left-hand corner. Now from here, you have the ability to filter appointments by group, whether Pro or CMHC, and by appointment category. Now below that, on the right-hand side, we have the calendar details section, which allows you to view appointments by day or week. Now something to point out is that day is the default there, but you can toggle back and forth. We'll discuss that a little bit later on as well. You also have the ability to view a selected appointment's information in the appointment details section. You can click View Appointment to navigate to the Schedule Appointment screen to view some pre-populated information. You also have the ability to click Join an Appointment to join an appointment through the Microsoft Teams application. And we'll go through that process in greater detail a little bit later on. And lastly here, you have the ability to click Mark Appointments as Unavailable to let the reviewer know that it needs to be rescheduled. And one last thing here, again, if you would like to, you can click Search for Appointments to navigate to the Appointment History screen. So next we are going to take a deeper dive into our calendar view filter options. To start, we'll discuss group appointments. So group appointments allows you to view appointments for a specific group, whether it be Pro or CMHC. And something to point out here as well is if that no selection is made, both Pro and CMHC appointments will display. And then below that we have appointment category. And this displays appointment category specific to the reviewer. So whether it be Pro, CMHC, again, it allows you to kind of filter that down just a little bit more. Next, we are going to continue with some step-by-step navigation of the provider calendar screen. Our first step here is going to be to select the preferred filter in the calendar view section. After we have selected the appropriate filter, we're going to go ahead and click View. From there, on the bottom left-hand side of the screen, we can see the appointments matching the filter criteria display. After that, we can go on to step 4, where in the calendar details, we're going to select the preferred day to view appointments scheduled. Providers may also change from day view to week view, so as discussed earlier, you can toggle back and forth if you would like. After you've selected the day, go ahead and click the preferred appointment. In step 6 here, you can see in the calendar details section on the right-hand side of your screen, additional information is going to pre-populate, such as the provider, interviewer, time, appointment category, and appointment status. Now with step 7 here on the right-hand side, we have the ability to click View Appointment to navigate to the Schedule Appointment screen. Step 8 also allows us to click Join Appointment to join an appointment in Microsoft Teams. And then lastly here, with step 9, if you would like, you can click Mark Appointment as Unavailable to inform the reviewer they need to reschedule. And to wrap things up here, we do have a recap of the provider calendar screen. So to call a few things out, first off, you have the ability to filter appointments by group, again, either by Pro or CMHC or appointment category. Again, you can click Search for Appointments to navigate to the Appointment History screen. You can join an appointment on the provider calendar screen. You can click View Appointment to navigate to the Schedule Appointment screen where appointment information for the selected appointment is pre-populated. And lastly, providers may mark an appointment as unavailable.
Next, we will discuss the process of letting the reviewer know that you're unavailable for an appointment. The reviewer is responsible for rescheduling all appointments. When you're unavailable for an appointment on a particular day and time, as the provider, it is your responsibility to update the appointment to mark it as unavailable. When you mark an appointment as unavailable, it triggers a red exclamation mark to appear next to the appointment that will be visible to both you and the reviewer. The purpose of the exclamation is to let the reviewer know that the appointment needs to be rescheduled or canceled. To mark an appointment as unavailable, select the appointment that needs to be rescheduled. Selecting an appointment enables the Mark Appointment as Unavailable button under the Calendar Details section. Click Mark Appointment as Unavailable. It should be noted that the Mark Appointment as Unavailable button will be disabled 1 hour prior to the scheduled appointment time. By clicking the Mark Appointment as Unavailable button, a pop-up screen appears requesting confirmation. You'll want to enter the days and times best to reschedule the appointment in the comment field. Once complete, click Confirm. Clicking Confirm navigates you back to the calendar screen. The appointment that was just marked as unavailable should now have a visible red exclamation mark that can be seen by both you and the reviewer. We do want to call out that the reviewer is expected to update the appointment status as necessary by looking at the red exclamation mark. The red exclamation mark disappears once the reviewer updates the appointment. A notification will not be sent that the appointment has been updated. If a reviewer schedules an appointment during a date or time the provider is not available, it is the responsibility of the provider to select the appointment and mark the appointment as unavailable. The Mark Appointment as Unavailable button will be disabled 1 hour prior to the scheduled appointment time. Marking an appointment as unavailable triggers a red exclamation mark next to the selected appointment that is visible to both the reviewer and provider. Lastly, the red exclamation mark is removed once the reviewer updates the appointment.
Next, we are going to discuss how to search for an appointment. To search for an appointment, go ahead and on the dashboard screen, click View Appointments to go to the calendar screen. Once arriving on the calendar screen, you're going to go ahead and click Search for Appointments on the top right-hand side. Upon clicking Search for Appointments, you'll be navigated to the Appointment History screen, where the only two mandatory fields are the begin and end date. However, you may feel free to add additional search criteria. Once all of your search criteria are entered, go ahead and click Search. Clicking Search navigates you to the Appointment History table, where matching search results display. Information displayed includes the individual name, app number, interviewer, date, appointment start and end time, as well as additional information. So next we are going to discuss how to join an appointment. So before we jump into how to actually join an appointment in Microsoft Teams, we do want to go over the preparation aspect first. And the following kind of outlines some suggested documentation that will assist with that appointment process. And first off, we really need to be able to speak to the member's condition. So the provider, facility representative should be able to speak to the member's condition and current status, as the reviewer will be guiding the assessment through a verbal screening. And something that will help with that is the ability to screen share within the meeting itself. So we'll talk through how to do that in Microsoft Teams in just a little bit. And another aspect as well is documentation. So items that may assist the provider include a diagnosis list, therapy notes, again, a medical chart, the ability to speak to clinical documentation to support the need for ongoing nursing facility placement. And then lastly here, the ability to speak to PASAR. So again, those are overall just some good documentation to include. And one last piece here as well is KLOCS access. So the ability to enter discharges within KLOCS, again, that is important as well. And one last thing I do want to note is that appointments may be scheduled at the individual or facility level. Now with facility level appointments, multiple assessments may occur during the appointment itself. Moving forward, we are going to discuss next the actual step-by-step process for joining an appointment. And the first step we're going to take is under the Today's Appointment section. We're going to go ahead and click Join under the Action column. Now before we move on, I do want to call out just a few more things. And first is that the link to join the appointment is enabled 15 minutes before the scheduled start time and remains active until 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time of the current day. So again, just really important to make sure that we're getting to those appointments on time and starting them appropriately. And then also, if the provider doesn't see the join link enabled within 15 minutes of the appointment start time while they're in KLOCS, they can go ahead and refresh the page and it should appear for them. So something else I want to call out as well is that you can alternatively join the appointment from the calendar screen itself. As you can see here on our screenshot, what we would do is we would go ahead and click the appointment we want to join. And then on the bottom right-hand side, we would go ahead and click Join Appointment. And that's going to navigate us to the Microsoft Teams application. And next, something else to point out as well is that if joining a meeting through the calendar screen, there is going to be an additional pop-up that's going to show for you with the appointment details. Now, if the meeting selected is the correct meeting, you can go ahead and click Join Meeting. So after we've gone ahead and started the appointment, we'll see the screen right here where it allows us to select how we would like to join the Microsoft Teams meeting. So there are two options here. You can go ahead and connect via web browser by clicking Continue on this browser. And I do want to note here that really if you are connecting via web browser, for best results, you should use a preferred web browser such as Google Chrome, Microsoft Edge, or Safari version 11.6 and above. Internet Explorer is not supported, so if you use Internet Explorer, you will not have good results. Something else to point out as well is that if using a preferred web browser, it is not required to download the Microsoft Teams app, but if you are using a non-preferred browser such as Firefox, certain functionality may not work, and again, it is recommended to use the Microsoft Teams app. So like I said, that second option is the Microsoft Teams app, and if you want to use that, you can go ahead and click Open Your Teams app, and that will take you to the meeting itself. So after you've selected the way in which you would like to join the Microsoft Teams meeting, you may be prompted to enter your name. So make sure to include your first and last name, as well as to check that the camera and microphone are toggled on. We just want to make sure when you join the meeting itself that you have the ability to turn your microphone and your camera on and off if you would like. So after you've completed those steps, you can go ahead and click Join Now. And just a few more things to point out here. The screen display may vary based on the device you're using. So if you're using your cell phone, your computer, your Microsoft Teams app, the way in which the screen displays, again, may vary just a little bit. And lastly here, as the MS Teams opens in a new browser, the provider is still able to access KLOCS during the appointment. Again, the provider may access the information in KLOCS as needed. So you can go back and forth between the meeting and KLOCS itself. Now, when starting the meeting, you can go ahead and use the menu option on the screen to turn on video as well as audio when you're ready. And something else to note here is that if waiting for additional users to join the meeting, the message when the meeting starts will let people know you're waiting, or waiting for others to join may display. So providers may join the meeting once the reviewer admits them to the meeting. We just want to call that out as well. So next we are going to discuss some of the icons that are listed within your Microsoft Teams meeting menu bar. So the first two we want to discuss are camera and microphone buttons. These allow you to turn on and off both your webcam and microphone. Below that we have listed there the arrow and box icon. This allows an individual to display their desktop and window. So again, that screen sharing feature we discussed earlier, this is where that would be utilized. We also have the three dots icon that lists additional options such as meeting details, how to enter full screen, gallery view. And then something I do want to point out as well is that Microsoft Teams has an option to invite people to join meetings through copying the meeting link or sharing via email. It is not recommended that reviewers or providers utilize this feature as it increases the risk of a potential HIPAA violation, so providers and reviewers must always join telehealth appointments through KLOCS. A couple other icons we have here are the talking bubble icon. This opens the chat bar. We have the people icon that displays a list of users in the meeting. And then we have the red box with phone icon. And this ends the meeting. So don't click until the reviewer confirms the meeting is over. And one last thing I do want to point out here before we move on is that you should not share PII and PHI over MS Teams chat. So please be sure to remove all PHI, PII, and CI from chat messages, images, and other entries in the chat function. And just to wrap things up here for the appointment process, we do have a couple tips here. First off, care really must be taken to ensure only authorized personnel are able to view protected health information. Also, please do not share the meeting link. Providers and reviewers must always join telehealth appointments through KLOCS. And lastly here, do not share PII and PHI information over MS Teams chat. Please be sure to remove all PHI, PII, and CI from chat messages, images, and other entries in the chat function.
Finally, let's run through some additional scenarios that we haven't yet gone over, but you may encounter as a provider. If a member is discharged, then all associated appointments with the status of scheduled, rescheduled, or show are changed to canceled. A notice of cancellation is not sent to the provider. The appointment will still be listed in calendar view with the updated status and searchable in appointment history. The system will also generate the following comment in the appointment history. Member was discharged. For systematic discharge, if a member is systematically discharged, then all associated appointments with the status of scheduled, rescheduled, or show are changed to canceled. Again, a notice of cancellation is not sent to the provider. The appointment will still be viewable and available in the calendar view with the updated status and searchable in appointment history. The system will generate the following comment in the appointment history. Member was systematically discharged. If an application is withdrawn by the provider, then all associated appointments with the status of scheduled, rescheduled, or show are changed to canceled. A notice of cancellation is not sent to the provider. The system will generate the following comment in the appointment history. Application was withdrawn. Finally, for transfer, if a member is transferred, then associated field review appointments with a status of scheduled, rescheduled, or show are marked as canceled. Reassessment appointments are not canceled. If an appointment was canceled due to a transfer, the system will generate the following comment in the appointment history. Member was transferred.
If you still have questions regarding KLOCS Telehealth, please note there are additional resources readily available. For KLOCS technical support, dial 855-326-4650. For the provider menu, press 2. For Kentucky Level of Care technical support, press 4. Other resources include the Provider Telehealth QRG as well as KLOCS Telehealth FAQs. Again, thank you for joining and participating in the telehealth training.